Perhaps we've spoken about this topic before, but I think it's worthwhile repeating it. The pasuk in Mishlei says, Perik Beis, pasuk Dalid, and I'll read it for you here just to be Mekayim, the Indian, the halacha, of reading a pasuk inside. Im tivakshenu kekesev ukutmonim tichapsenu. If you search for it, which is talking about serving, fearing God, like kesef, like silver, ukatmonim, like buried treasure, az taven yiras Hashem, v'das Elokim timsa. Then you will understand fear of God, and understanding Elohim you will find. Right? So we see from here that the way, the methodology for coming to Yerushalayim is to look after it, to search for it, like you search for silver and for buried treasure. And this pasuk made a big impact on me, being someone who's involved in fundraising. And I thought, like, how can I fulfill this practically? How can I, when I do a mitzvah, have Yerushalayim and feel as if I'm searching for a buried treasure of gold and silver and diamonds and whatever else might be in the treasure chest? And then one day it occurred to me that, like this, I decided I'm going to put on my tefillin, and if I do it right, which is you say the tefillin beforehand and concentrate, say the bracha properly, put it on, then I'm going to write myself a check for $100,000. $100,000. So that's what I did. I put them on and I concentrated. I said the tefillah, did everything right, and afterwards I wrote myself a check for a large amount. Now, consequently, I my tefillin was in a car going to Hebron, and my tefillin fell out of the car. And at that point in time, I didn't yet have my address on the tefillin, as I do now, but it fell out, and the only identifying mark on my tefillin was that check for $100,000. So that check got me back, and consequently, I said, $100,000 is nice, but it just doesn't do it for me anymore. Like after a year or two, so I decided to up the ante, right? And instead of a check for $100,000, I made a check for $1 million. Yeah, and here it is, right here. You can see it, a check for $1 million, written to Kol Toras Chaim, and it's dated 23rd of Shvat, 5848, which is my 120th birthday, and it says on the memo, Schar Mitzvah B'Hayom Aleichem. Okay, so there's my check for $1 million. And now, this Hanukkah, I was thinking, what can we do for other people that I could share this experience properly? So I decided as follows. We're going to send out to all the people that I have addresses for, all the people who have been in touch with me about my books and share them over the past few years. We have a large address list. We're going to send them a $100,000 note. Yeah? So we have to get hold. We have to call up the American Treasury and get permission to print 500 copies of the $100,000 notes. They're doing it themselves, like every day, like crazy. So it wasn't so hard to get permission from from President Biden for this. And we have 500 copies of $100,000 notes, and we'd like to send it to you for Hanukkah. That you should also be able to share in this experience. Put in your tefillin if you're a man. If you're a woman, you can keep it in your siddur or keep it next to the candles. And when you do the mitzvah, realize it's $100,000 pales. It pales in light of the tremendous reward that awaits us for the mitzvahs that we do. Va'az tavin yiras Hashem, and that's im tichapsenu kesef u'kamat monim. So, if you want to be the recipient of one of these 500 copies of the $100,000 bill, it's true it's not legal tendency. Instead of saying God we trust, which it doesn't actually say the $100,000 bill, it says in Hashem we trust, and there's a few other distinguishing marks which show that it's not legal tendency, including the paper it's printed on. You could be the recipient of one of these $100,000 bills. Just write to us at the Kollel, which is office at rabbitravis.org, or you can write to me personally at DY, like Daniel Yaakov, DY Travis, TRAVIS, DY Travis 613 at gmail.com. Send me a letter. We have 350 are already accounted for, so we have another 150 left to distribute before Hanukkah. We're doing a mailing next week to get them out to get them out before, so they should arrive for Hanukkah I'm not talking about this Hanukkah. I'm talking about next Hanukkah because I got a wedding invitation recently. The wedding was in a few days, but it was just a year ago. So the mail is a little bit slow today, the snail mail. But for sure by next Hanukkah, and maybe even if you have a miracle, you get it this Hanukkah in the mail. So just send me an email with your address and a request to get one of these $100,000 notes, right? There will be no envelope asking for money attached. It's just a pure send out of Yiras Shamayim, that you should improve your Yiras Shamayim and get closer to Hashem and realize the tremendous, tremendous worth of every single mitzvah you do. If you want to give me feedback about my shirim, like you don't like my tie or something like that. Yesterday someone said, Rabbi Travis, your tie has purple in it. That's not, yeshiva's for Rosh Kol. So what could I do? Purple, like I just like the color. So if you have comments like that, or maybe something even good, you can let me know that as well. And B'ezrat Hashem, we should all be zoiche to this very, very deep understanding of the true value of what we do. One hidden tzaddik who knows Kol Torah Kuloi, meaning Nigla and Nistar, and is one of the great poskim of our generation. He's just hidden. So he told me that, Rabbi Travis, don't talk about big things. Talk about just doing what you're already doing and doing it with great passion. So I'm trying to fill his words. And in order to help you in this endeavor, I'd like to send you a $100,000 note. Again, it's not legal tender. If you go to the grocery store, they will not accept it. And even the bank, right? In Hashem we trust, will not just go over in the American monetary system. So you don't have to worry about getting arrested for owning this $100,000 note. But aside from that, and aside from the fact that Hashem we trust, it's a exact duplicate of the $100,000 note, which you'll see it has the picture of Woodrow Wilson on it. And B'ezrat Hashem, we should all come to this very elevated level of understanding that of looking for mitzvahs like silver and buried treasure. Amen. Kain Tiye Ratzon.